You're about to watch a Trains Newswire video. If you enjoy what you see, consider watching some of our other full-length videos. Selling Sunshine, the Florida Trains. Locomotive 2017, a video companion to our best-selling annual issue. Big Steam is back. All of these and more are available from our website, kalmbachhobbystore.com. Good morning. Today is Friday, December 29th, 2017. Welcome to another episode of Trains Newswire Roundup. I am your faithful companion, Steve Sweeney.
Hi, Jim Wrinn, and we've got a special edition for you today, our top 10 stories of the year.
Top 10?
Wow. What a year it has been.
Okay, well, should we just start it?
We probably should. We should probably take a deep breath and a drink of something, tea, yes. But then we should jump right into it. Breathe, Steve, breathe.
Okay,
yes,
ready.
It was that kind of year.
Number 10, the autonomous train. Okay, so this came to us out of Australia, the Outback. Rio Tinto, the mining company, they do copper and gold and other things. They took some GE locomotives and they connected it to a big long hopper train, and they didn't have any crew members in it, and they ran basically from mine to port, about 300 miles, with nobody on board.
Nobody on board. We did a feature story in Trains about it.
Yes, we did.
And you know, a lot of people, you know, have questioned that. You know, and I've questioned it too. You know, the sensibility and the safety of having a train out there with no one on board. But it is happening. The technology exists. You know, as everyone has pointed out. You know, if you can fly a drone across the world, you can run a train probably from remote control too.
Absolutely. Okay. Oh, there's the bell.
There's the bell.
We got a little bell here. Okay.
On to the next topic.
So Clinchfield, Jim, this is in your territory. You're actually even down there.
Clinchfield 800, great restoration on a classic cab unit. In fact, the feature story in our February issue that's just coming out. CSX Transportation wanted to do something special for their 75th anniversary of their Santa train on the old Clinchfield Railroad.
Yep.
They did it with this, by golly. The guys at Huntington Shops did a fabulous job, put the engine back in its 1948 appearance in gray and yellow. It really looks cool.
And it runs good too, right?
And it runs good too. It's now down on the Orlando and Northwestern, running as the Royal Palm Railroad Experience, just north of Orlando. And just so happens I might try to run into it here in a couple weeks.
That sounds like a fantastic plan.
Yeah.
Fantastic plan.
So cool locomotive, new life, go see it.
Next. Number 8, the announced merger between Siemens and Alstom. Siemens in Germany, Alstom in France.
Hard to believe because they've been such fierce competitors on the European continent, and they're starting to have a presence in North America, of course, building the Chargers and the other locomotives here in America. Well,
absolutely. Well, I mean, a lot of our viewers know that Alstom had a hand in building the Excella Expresses in the late 90s.
Right.
You know, and they did that in upstate New York. And of course, Siemens has been increasingly in the locomotive market, also in the streetcar market. They're trying to do heavy rail. They're now doing the Bright Line train sets. So a merger between these two guys, as we talked about on Newswire earlier this week, is sort of a merger of the biggest player in passenger railroad in North America right now.
Gonna put some big ones out there. All right, here's to number 7. The summer of you-know-what. Well, we'll just go ahead and say it. Hell in New York City. Right. Tracks in Penn Station, suffering a lot of deterioration. Amtrak came in and said, you know, we've let these things go down. We got to do a massive rebuild. We're going to do it this summer. Yeah, absolutely, they did. And it was titled The Summer of Hell by a lot of media and people in the New York City area. I think that was the New York Post headline.
You got to love the New York Post. But you know what? It turned out to be not so bad. Yeah, there were delays. There were construction inconveniences. But Amtrak was able to go in and tell MTA and New Jersey Transit, look, this is for safety. They found a bunch of bad ties, a bunch of bad rail. They replaced it. They rebuilt platforms. No one thought it could be done easily. No one said it was done easily. But they did it, and it was really an important fix that needed to be done.
All right, there's the bell again. On to number 6, Chesapeake and Ohio 1309. Great restoration project at Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. Ran into some problems. They found some things that they didn't anticipate. They ran out of money. You know, they just recovered from the landslide they'd been through. You know, it's one of these projects that Has all the right features. It's a great locomotive. Everybody wants to see it, and it just keeps facing one challenge after another, one obstacle after another.
You know, and maybe if this were another locomotive, maybe like an 060 or something somewhere else, it may not have drawn that much attention.
Right.
But because this will be one of the biggest, if not the largest, operating steam locomotive in the world when it's completely restored, it's drawing a lot of attention and a lot of scrutiny, which we've covered on Newswire this year.
And it has a great place to run. I mean, you know,
Yes.
17 miles of mountain railroad, fabulous place to go.
Yep, absolutely.
On to number 5. Brightline down in Florida.
Brightline,
pretty good.
Yeah, we couldn't time that better. So Brightline, the first private passenger rail service. People are quibbling about the exact specificities of this is a railroad or not. Who cares? It's flange wheel on steel rail. It's a private company moving people from point A to point B for profit. It's a really big deal. Now we hear today that they're going to start up January 8th. 2018.
Week of January 8th. Yep.
Week of January 8th, 2018, which is a big deal. And this is going to move potentially millions and millions of people a year between Miami and Orlando when fully complete. It's a huge deal.
It is a huge deal. And the train sets are gorgeous. You know, as you mentioned,
Yes.
they were produced by Siemens out at their locomotive, or out at their passenger car, well, railroad shop.
Sacramento, California.
Yep, Sacramento, California shop. And they're going to be fabulous. It was a brand new system, all of it.
The bell.
All right.
The crash of 501. I've been calling it the flight of train 501.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 3 people died December 18th when Amtrak Cascades train set crashed. It included Talgo equipment, included Siemens locomotive, included an old GE locomotive. And, you know, this is just another case where even though we're in the 21st century, even though we have all this modern technology, even though we're investing millions of dollars in some cases in infrastructure, bad things still happen. Why? And that's what I see coming out of this. This has so many eerie similarities, 2E eerie similarities to what happened in Philadelphia 2 years ago. I hope that this was just a simple, as you would say, an O-ring mistake, you know, a 98-cent piece somewhere, rather than, you know, someone not paying attention.
You know, and it's really odd, you know, the train literally jumped the tracks. You know,
Yes.
we've heard that term before, but it literally jumped the tracks. All right, we're off to number 3, disasters and traffic.
Well, let me jump on that one. So we had a lot of disasters this year. We had Hurricane Irma, we had Hurricane Harvey that devastated the southern United States. We have wildfires in Southern California.
Yep.
We have now getting heavy snows along the Great Lakes and extreme cold. And guess what? In spite of all this, the railroads have broken intermodal traffic records. And we'll see the numbers in January 2018, but it looks like the railroads have broken intermodal records for the entire year. That's fantastic. It's unheard of.
Crazy. And like you said, you know, no matter what, the railroads keep going. You know, the picture that's emblazoned in my mind is the picture of the passenger train out in California, and the hillside above it is just on fire. And, you know, they're still running the passenger trains and commuter trains out there.
Doesn't affect the train like it does traffic.
Sure doesn't.
So,
number 2.
GE Transportation.
Whoever thought?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't ever think it would ever happen. They want to get out of the locomotive business.
Yeah, it's not just eerie, but just completely get rid of locomotives. So maybe GE Transportation that builds locomotives and locomotive engines will be something else.
Somebody else's property there. But long storied history in locomotive building and design. They started out as the underdog in the 1960s. They kept working, finally achieved dominance over longtime builder EMD to the point where they basically collapsed. Now, here's GE saying it wants to refocus its business and get out of the building of locomotives. So, very surprising development from
very,
GE.
very surprising. You know, you say the 1960s, but it really goes back to the 1880s with Thomas Edison.
Long time before.
So,
long time
crazy.
before.
All right.
And the number 1 story of the year.
Can you guess it?
Probably no surprise to any of you guys.
Hunter Harrison.
Yep.
And the infamous or famous, controversial at least, CEO of 4 Class 1 railroads has died and left, I would say, an indelible mark on our modern railroading.
Right. I would too, and of course his emergence at CSX last March after he retired at CP, came in with an investor group, began making sweeping changes. Some folks said maybe too fast. Some folks said he was feeling his mortality. But a lot of changes and upheavals at CSX this year because of Hunter Harrison. And then here, just a few weeks ago, he's gone.
Yeah.
And now the baton's been passed to Jim Foote. And we wish him and everybody down at CSX well, because certainly a lot of work to be done there. a lot of customers to be and employees to be soothed.
Right, and a transformation to finish. I mean, right now they're in the middle. Right. They're in the middle of what was the three-sided railroad from a couple of years ago, and now they're in the middle of precision scheduled railroading. So even though they're on the right foot, so to speak, you know, CSX still has to finish what they've started. Right. They're not a complete railroad right now. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out and if they can get their customers back, the ones that they've lost. So see about all of these stories, a little bit more in-depth coverage on Newswire the past couple of weeks. We've got a link to it at the bottom of this screen. Also, if you're an email subscriber, you'll be getting an email over New Year's weekend listing all of this plus this video. So, Jim, Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you guys next year.
Take care.
Take care.